President Aliyev suppressed the so-called Western Azerbaijan movement, disbanded it, ordered it to cease operations. That's a major shift. The idea that Armenia needs to make a similar move is a little more complicated for Armenia and will take a bit longer because amending the constitution takes a little bit longer. Armenia is not a dictatorship. There are procedures that have to be followed.
President Aliyev insists that the change of constitution in Armenia remains the major precondition for the peace. Now, do you see this as a genuine path to the peace?
We knew from the beginning of these talks that both countries would have to pull back from the indication that they had claims on territorial claims on the other. You will note that a week ago, President Aliyev suppressed the so-called Western Azerbaijan movement, disbanded it, ordered it to cease operations. That's a major shift in terms of Azerbaijani presentation. The idea that Armenia needs to make a similar move is a little more complicated for Armenia and will take a bit longer because amending the constitution takes a little bit longer. Armenia is not a dictatorship. There are procedures that have to be followed. Those procedures are going to take time. Exactly how long, I can't say. I do believe that it's going to happen. I do believe that Russia is going to try to interfere in that process to delay it as long as it can in the hope that that will kill the agreement. But I think that Mr. Pashinyan realizes that to get the kind of opening he hopes for that will lead to a recovery of Armenia's position is going to require that he do that. He's said as much. And I think that we're probably some weeks or months away from that. But yes, I think that has to happen, and I think it will.
President Aliyev in his Arabia interview also said that he has good relationship with the official Iran, and he specified President Pezeshkian and his foreign minister Arakchi. Now, how reassuring it is that Iran, the official Iran, is indeed has no problem with that, especially given the fact that there is a intensive diplomatic talks going on between Moscow and Iran.
Well, Moscow's talking to Iran. Iran has given its answer to those talks by saying, we don't trust what Moscow's telling us. We don't trust that Moscow's on our side. We're not happy with the way the Russians are behaving. I'm not surprised that President Aliyev said what he said about Iran. Azerbaijan and Iran have compelling reasons to develop good relations. The fact that after it became clear with the text of the peace agreement that third countries would not be allowed to put military force in the corridor, Iran came out and said, we're happy with this. We're supporting the corridor development because our big concern was that Armenian sovereignty in Syunik be maintained. And that was very important. Who is protecting those red lines? Well, it's Baku and Yerevan, not Moscow. Moscow's been opposed to making progress because it still hopes that it can play Azerbaijan and Armenia against each other. If it fails, and if this corridor opens, and 3 days ago, I believe it was, Azerbaijani government announced that it would complete what it needed to build to make the corridor work by sometime next year, in 2026. I mean, this was always going to take longer than people wanted. A lot of people want things to happen instantly, and they can't. And some people, when they realize that it can't happen instantly, nonetheless continue to work. Other people try to walk away. We see both of those things going on with respect to the South Caucasus.
President Aliyev, while visiting Kalbajar, he said that we should be ready for any war. Nobody can threaten us. What is your interpretation? Did he mean Armenia, or did he mean Russia or Iran?
Well, I don't think he means Armenia. The Armenian army is not a threat at this point. It simply isn't well enough armed and large enough and well enough trained to present a threat to Azerbaijan. Azerbaijan understands that, and so does Armenia. The only threats that could come to Azerbaijan right now would come either from Iran, if Iran were so disposed, or from Russia. Russia isn't going to present a military threat. Other kinds of threats, yes. Military threat, no, because Russia is very much overextended in Mr. Putin's war in Ukraine. And Mr. Aliyev has made it very clear how he views that war as a war of imperial reconquest, and that he urges the Ukrainians not to accept occupation. It may take a while, he said, but if you don't accept occupation, you can eventually win. So Russia's not happy, but it can't use military force in the near term. I don't see Iran being willing or able to use military force either. But it should be said, anyone reading President Aliyev's speech, that leaders of countries do not typically name the countries that threats emerge from. That simply gives the game away. And the idea that you need to build a strong military is certainly consistent with what President Aliyev has done. That was a reaffirmation of the fact that we're going to do this. We're going to cooperate with Kazakhstan. We're going to cooperate with Turkmenistan. We're going to develop good relations with Iran. We'd be delighted to have good relations with Russia, but Russia has to recognize that those relations are going to be based on a balanced agreement, not on Russian diktat, as has been so often in the past, as Mr. Aliyev made clear in his interview.